T-O-N-P-T-O-N, my city.
What is up, you guys? Another video. Please subscribe. Videos every Monday now. So subscribe, turn the bell on so that you can tune in every Monday when I come out with a new video. But anyways, today we're going to talk about Post Bacc programs. And if you guys have watched any of my previous content, you know that I've done a Post Bacc program in the past, and then I've got another Post Bacc program to complete. So this will be my second Post Bacc program in trying to achieve my goals. But in today's video, we're going to talk about the benefits of going to a Post Bacc program, my experience in the Post Bacc program, and what I got out of it, and then also how to maximize your time in a Post Bacc program to really achieve your goal to the best you can. And so I figure, what better way to talk about my first Post Bacc program than to actually go to the school that I did my first Post Bacc program at. So that's what we're going to be doing. That's what we're going to be doing today. Let's go. So if you want to be successful in the Post Bacc program, there's a couple things you should do. Number one is to utilize the Post Bacc program to refine your study methods. That's the number one thing, in my opinion, to do while in a Post Bacc program. Obviously, the end goal of the Post Bacc program is to get a 4.0. Let's just put that on the table, plain and simple. That is the bottom line. 4.0 Post Bacc program, that's why I'm going. And to take the classes. But 4.0 while I'm taking the classes. While you're doing that, you want to make sure that you're learning how to study, how you learn, how to process the information, and to continue refining those methods. Because when you get into the program that you're eventually applying to, you want to be at the top level of academic proficiency as you possibly can. And so that means along the way, learning different techniques, learning tricks and little tools and things like that. So that's the number one thing I'd say is make sure that you continue to refine your study skills and study habits in the Post Bacc program. The second thing you want to do is to make sure that you are talking to your professor and to start learning the skills of networking and really developing relationships with the individuals that are teaching your courses. Because when you get to your professional program, those relationships are really going to be key in terms of your job after the program, or being able to gain greater insight into the coursework that you guys are covering. For example, when I was in my master's program at Texas Tech, I made sure to go to my professor's office hours and actually dive into the material a little bit deeper than what was discussed in class. Not only to show greater interest, which I truly did have greater interest in the material, but to expand upon the concepts that were being taught. And so inevitably, expanding on those concepts while talking to the professor entrenched the basic level of concept even further. And so not only did I understand the basics a lot better, but I was also able to expand and build on that knowledge more so than if I wouldn't have gone to speak with him. But at the end of it, I had to learn how to network on that professional level with my professors by practicing at my Post Bacc program. And so that's number two. Number three is to learn how to, or to get better at being a commuter. And so what I mean by that is that initially when you are at a four-year institution, you live on campus or live really close to campus. And so when you go to a Post Bacc program, you might not, in most cases you probably won't, live on campus or even that close to the campus. So being a commuter changes the way that your academic experience goes. I mean, there's a lot of time and a lot of space to think in between your house where you might study and the school where you might attend lectures. And so that space and that gap can really have an effect on your ability to retain the information. And so learning how to become a commuter student is really an important component of any Post Bacc program. Learning how to retain the information, to think about the information, to try to process the information on your way home or on your way to school, and really trying to stay locked in between during the in-between time. So those are my three things for Post Bacc programs, and those are just three that I can think of right now. I'm sure there's 1,000,000, 100, 1,000 other things that would be very useful for any student that's considering or is going to or might need a Post Bacc program. So the reality is that this building right here, this math and science building, is here in Compton, but it still provided me with the information and the classes that I needed to be able to apply to the physical therapy program. And so even though I didn't get into the physical therapy program, I still was able to utilize the classes that I took here, the prerequisite classes that I took here, to be able to apply for my master's program. And so I was able to get into the master's program, which has positioned me where I am today to be able to continue my healthcare education by pursuing medical school. And so the reality is that right here in Compton, I was able to accomplish my first Post Bacc. I was able to get the grades that I needed to be successful, and I was able to take the classes that I needed to take to apply to the program that I wanted to apply to. And so the truth is that, it wasn't easy. I applied here, got in here and took classes here thinking that, I was choosing an easier school. But at the end of the day, I think one of the main things that I learned was that no matter what, the subject matter, the chemistry, the physiology, the anatomy, the science classes that are required to pursue healthcare in the medical field or any type of medical subspecialty, the course material is just in itself difficult. And so no matter what you do, there's always going to be challenges, there's always going to be obstacles, and there's always going to be hurdles. But your ability to overcome those things is really what makes the difference, and really what positions you to be the best candidate you can possibly be in applying to any school or profession you're applying to.
But you know what I learned? I learned that you have to keep seeking new ways, new paths, creating new plans, developing new opportunities for yourself to achieve the goals that you have set before you, to accomplish the dreams that you envision, to be in the place that you see yourself being. You have to find new ways and create the opportunity for yourself. That's all that it's going to take, is you creating the opportunity. You figuring out how to get from point A to point B. And point A to point B isn't always the straight way. Sometimes there's ups and downs and zigzags and cuts and U-turns. But eventually, you'll reach your goal. And if it's not today, then it's going to be tomorrow. And if not tomorrow, maybe next week. But at least everything you do, every next step you take to try to accomplish your goal is going to get you closer to that end goal. And so what's the point in stopping? Because today you're closer than you were yesterday. And that's what I've done throughout my entire journey. Found different ways, new ways, different approaches, and created the opportunities for myself to be able to become a physician. And believe me, I will not stop. My journey will not end until I am a physician, and I will be.
I had a great experience here. I was able to accomplish what I came here to accomplish, and that's really the most important thing. And so I'm back now to look and see where I've come from, which is really cool. And just a really cool opportunity to see how far I've come, really, I think. And so as I begin my next leg, which begins in the next month or two, which begins actually in August, it's really cool to come back and see where I'm coming from, you know, and some of the steps, some of the legs, I guess, of the race. And man, I don't regret any of it. You know, it's been a really non-traditional route for me, extremely non-traditional, but I don't regret a single step of it. I don't regret a single pitfall. I don't regret a single misstep. I don't regret a single failed test, whatever you want to call it, because I know that it all has prepared me for this moment.